Hey guys, Mike with Old Iron. Today we're going to do a review on this bead roller. Now I just picked this up, I just put it together yesterday. I've been looking for one and going back and forth trying to research everything, and I came across this one and I got it for the simple reason of it was cheap, point one, and point two is it had a 30-day no hassle return. So I'm like, man, if I get it and it's a piece of crap, I'll just take it back, get my money back. I'm somewhat impressed, to be honest. Disclaimer, I got this off Temu. And with the stand, all the dies, and the unit, it was right at about 200 bucks. It was like 198, 205 with tax or something like that. I can't remember. But I got it and I went to pick up the box and I'm thinking, oh man, this thing's gonna be like, like that, metal that thin, like 16th inch plate up on top and, crap like that. And I'm impressed. Now, it's from China, like everything nowadays. There's a few things that I'll tweak. Now, if you're going to do custom polished aluminum door panels and you want to do the designs in door panels, get a nicer unit, man. Yeah, it's just common sense. You know what I mean? I'm going to be using this for a little bit of metal fab, which if I do anything, say like a body panel, I need to run it through here for one reason or another, it's going to get glazed, it's going to be work, it's going to have body work, okay? So little imperfections aren't going to be an issue. And the main thing I'm going to use this for is for rigidity bends for floorboards, like on the rat and, putting the floors in. That's the main reason I wanted one. So for my use, it's perfect, man. Top piece is 1/2-inch plate steel. I'll swing this around and I'll take you off of the tripod in a minute here and give you a little bit of a close-up. But I want to run through it, some of the pros and cons that I found so far. Now, like I said, I just put this together yesterday afternoon. I have not run any metal through it. We'll do that in a bit. Everything looks beefy, if that makes any sense. It don't look cheap. Does it look like a $1,500 unit? No. But for a $200 unit, from what I've seen, it impresses me. I'm pretty sure it's the same one that Eastwood and everybody else sells. They just paint them different colors, to be honest. It could have something to do with these are cheaper because they didn't pass the QC for some reason or something like that. I don't know. I don't work at the factory, Now, with squishy barking in the background, when I put it together, I noticed a couple little things that need to be tweaked. And there's a couple other things that I still have to tweak on it. But all in all, I'm completely happy with it. Now, for starters, and I'll show you more in detail when I take you off of there because I actually don't know if you can see the bottom of this right now. But the bottom base, the little legs for it, when they put this bottom plate on, they either put it on upside down or when they welded it, it warped. And it kind of came up like this just a little bit. So what happened is when you bolt the legs in to come out, the legs were kind of sitting up a little bit. And the bolts were just a hair too long. So what I did is I went to the workbench, I grabbed a handful of washers, I double washered them on the top so they wouldn't go through the bottom all the way. And you've got 2 bolts on each leg. I loosened up the back bolt, took the front bolt out, and kind of dropped that piece down a little bit and stuck a washer in between the plate and the leg to bring that leg down like this instead of up like this, if that makes any sense. And that solved the problem. It's sturdy. Before it was kind of rocking back and forth. It was kind of teeter-tottering, but for what it is. Second thing I noticed right off the bat when I put it together is I'm about 6 foot, 6'1", something like that. I'm getting older, so I'm shrinking. Used to be 6'2", I'm not 6'2" anymore, But it's probably about 6 inches too low. So I'm going to build some kind of base to actually mount this to bring it up a little bit, because I want it basically about here. You know what I mean? I want the piece of metal I'm working on, I want it about waist high. I can still look down at it and see my lines, but tall enough to where it's just easier to maneuver it. Because if you're like this, bending over, working on something all day, it's going to start affecting your back, and when it starts affecting your back, it's going to affect the quality of the piece that you're working on. Common sense. So I'm going to raise it up a little bit. And I also noticed I'm going to change out the arm, and I'm actually going to mount a older steering wheel on here, because with this, with your rotation, you're putting different pressure on it as it's going, if that makes any sense, because you've got that natural kind of, fast, slow when you're cranking something. And with a steering wheel, you've got a continual motion, like going down or going towards you. And I've talked to a lot of guys, and they're like, yeah, put a damn steering wheel on it. He's like, the first thing you want to do when you get one, a couple people I've talked to, they're like, the first thing you want to do when you get one is take this lever and throw it in the scrap pile. For that simple reason. They said because you're slowing and speeding up your work as you're going. And if you're doing it by yourself, if you've got someone standing here, or if you get one with a motor on it, that's a different story. But if you got someone standing here that can actually follow your directions precisely, leave the crank on. You know what I mean? But if you're doing the work by yourself, like I will be, and most other people would be, put a steering wheel on it. Get a cheap Grant or something, and just, you know what I mean? You can get them at swap meets for like $30, It's stout. Now the dies, or before I get to the dies, when you're cranking this, right there, I got to go through the gears. I'm going to mark it and go through the gears and see if there's a little bit of an imperfection. I've noticed a lot of machining work that really wasn't cleaned up properly, henceforth made in China. I'll show you some of that in a minute. So I'll eventually go through it, and I'll kind of polish up the dies a little bit. And there's some of them have little nicks and burrs and stuff like that on them. I'll get that off of there. That's what you're going to get for $200 compared to $600-700. You know what I mean? And even like the Eastwood one. Don't quote me on this. I'd have to actually look at the specs, but I don't think this plate is as thick as this one is. So I don't know if there's a little burr on one of them or not. So I got to check that out. It's right. Every time you go around, it's smooth. And then right there at the bottom, you just kind of feel a little bit of a hang. So I'm guessing there's a little burr on one of the tooths or something. I got to check that out. That ain't no big deal. The dies themselves, and like I said, I'll take you off of here and I'll give you a close-up. Where the set screws are, when they drilled them out, they never cleaned out the inside, so you got burrs in here. I mean, literally, well, I just dropped it, but there's literally like little flakes of metal in there. That all needs to be cleaned out. I need to take an emery and smooth those out. So yeah, there's a little bit of tweaking, but like I said, I'm going to use it for floor pans. It's fine for what I want it for. And if you're looking for one just for like floor pans and stuff like that, like I'm going to use it for, I highly recommend this one. I mean, why go out and pay $700 for something that you can get for $2? You know what I mean? Now it don't have the brand name on it, but I can go get an Eastwood sticker and stick it right there. You know what I mean? I'm not going to. So I gotta polish up some of the dies. I gotta fix a little burr on here, and I'm gonna raise it 6 inches. I can deal with that for $200. You know what I'm saying? So do I recommend it? Yeah. I got it on Temu. I'm not affiliated with Temu. I might see if they got associates link. Regardless, I'll stick a link down in the bottom, and that way you can see where I got it from. And if you're looking for one, I recommend giving it a shot. Like I said, 30-day, hassle-free return. If you get it and you don't like it, send the damn thing back. That's simple, you know. They are shipped out of the U.S., so I ordered this and I got it in about 4 or 5 days. So it's not like you're waiting 30, 45, 60 days, whatever, you know, for a slow boat from China, literally. I think they ship out of California, if I'm not mistaken. They are Chinese made. They're not made in the U.S. But for what it is and for how much I'm going to use it, I think I scored, you know. But let me take you off of here and I'll show you some of the close-ups of what I'm talking about here. Now, it comes with six sets of dies. And, hang on a second. Now, the throat itself on this thing is sitting at 34 inches, okay, from the ground. I'd like it at 40. So it needs, that throat needs to be up here a little bit I mean, I can use it the way it is. I'm just saying, I think I'm going to end up raising it probably about 4 or 6 inches for my personal use. If you're shorter, this might be fine. I got to bend over to use the crank, and I'd have to bend over a little bit to maneuver the metal accordingly. But another thing that, it's one of those things that'll work, but I'm going to change, is this right here. I want a T-handle on it. So that's exactly what I'm going to do, is I'm going to put a T-handle on this here. And besides that, I mean, it is what it is. It's a $200 bead roller, you know what I mean? But I'll tell you, I haven't figured out where I'm putting it, but when I do, I need someone to grab the other end and carry it. This thing's heavy, man. You know what I mean? I mean, if you're young and you got a good back, you can pick it up and carry it. But I'm old and I don't have a good back, so I'm going to need some help moving it over there. Now, everything, I like the fact that these are greasable, you know. I like the fact, I mean, look how thick that is, you know what I mean? It's, the welds are decent, you know. I went over this thing I'm kind of anal, you know. So I went over it and I was looking at everything. Now, like the welds on here, they bother me because they're just kind of like on there, you know. But all they're doing is holding the dies. And they're stout. They're good welds, you know what I mean? It's just not pretty, you know. And it don't need to be pretty. So it's all good. And I'll show you one of these dies and what I'm talking about. I think this one. Yeah, right there. Now, let's see if I can get the light in here right. See right there? See the nicks? Yeah. I want to make sure everything's smooth. I'm going to polish all those out, you know. And there's several that have them. And like I said, I mean, the quality of the dies themselves are probably subpar compared to, you know, Woodward or Eastwood or someone like that. Now, if any of those guys want to send me one and I'll do an apple to oranges, hey, I'm game, you know what I mean? But quite honestly, I'm happy with this one for what I need, you know? But I'm definitely going to go through and get rid of the burrs on the inside. I don't know if you can, let's see if I can, yeah, you can see the burrs. See that? So, you know, I need to take some emery cloth and run through those so they slide on easy and it's not catching, just, you know, just kind of QC the damn thing, actually. All right, guys, right now I got it kind of packed away in the corner because I don't need to use it. I was going to do some metal with it on this video to show you how it works. I want to polish those dies first, and I really want to get this video out. So we'll do a separate video on actually how to use this thing once I get the dies polished and make some room up here to where we can actually roll some metal. But once again, if this was the least bit helpful, please subscribe, hit that thumbs up. If you want to follow along for more videos, please hit that bell icon. We will see you soon. I appreciate every last one of you guys.